Hello friend. Before starting, I want to take a moment to acknowledge someone from the ODC community, a fellow free and open source advocate with the username Ewa. Actually, he left a brilliant comment on the last video I made. His comment was not only insightful but also true. He said like this: "The most important thing about switching to GNU system distribution is the freedom it provides for computer users because it is free Libre software. Had Windows also been free Libre software, any specific version that is no longer supported by Microsoft could still be used by the users because there would be third-party developers distributing forks of Windows. Windows 10 going end of life is only a problem because it is proprietary software. When GNU distributions go end of life, they get forked if there is still interest, like what happened with Mandriva." This comment really stuck with me and eventually became the central idea for this video. So thank you, Ewa. This video is built entirely around your thoughts, and I am really sorry if I am pronouncing the name incorrectly. Now let's get to the point. On October 14, 2025, an era of personal computing has come to an end. The Windows 10 operating system is officially dead. Not because it stopped working or your computer could not handle it, but because Microsoft has decided to end the support. It is not a technical decision, but a corporate one. A decision that instantly turns millions of perfectly working pieces of hardware and personal computers into e-waste. And the irony is that Microsoft has chosen October 14, 2025, the same day the world observes International E-Waste Day, a day when the world is trying to recycle for sustainability. So, this raises a compelling question. What if Windows were built on the philosophy of free and open source software? Just imagine a world where Windows operating system was not a proprietary software. A world where Windows users enjoyed the same freedoms that GNU Linux users take for granted. So let's go and see how that world would have looked, especially through the key aspects of free and open source foundation. If the source code of Windows operating systems had been open, volunteers could have simply removed the restrictive requirements like the TPM 2.0 lockout that blocks older PCs from upgrading. Users wouldn't have to hack their way around an installer. It would have been legitimate, supported, and transparent, just like GNU Linux, where various communities maintain compatibility with older systems long after the official vendors stop supporting them. When Microsoft announced the 2025 end of life for Windows 10, the community would have stepped in. A group of volunteers and developers might have created a fork, maybe called Windows Freedom Edition, or Windows Libre, or even Open Windows. Who knows? Picking up the development from where Microsoft left off. Just like the community did, and Mandriva became Magia and Open Mandriva. Or CentOS become Alma Linux and Rocky Linux. When their corporate parents moved on, the community took over. And that is the magic of free software. When a project dies, the code lives on and it rises again from the community. If Microsoft had open-sourced Windows decades ago, the entire landscape of computing might have been different. Schools, offices, and small businesses could have safely used PCs for years. Developers could have fixed bugs faster than Microsoft could ever imagine. Specialized forks of Windows could have existed, all community-driven and user-respecting. And Microsoft could have still profited by offering enterprise support, cloud services, and consulting, just like Red Hat and SUSE do today. Not by locking down the code, but by earning trust and providing value. And alternatively, GNU Linux might have not existed in its current form, or perhaps it would have evolved into something else entirely, competing on pure merit rather than necessity. But let's come back to the reality for a moment. No matter how nice everything sounds, the question still remains, would Microsoft ever actually do this? So, as a matter of fact, back in the early 2000s, Bill Gates famously called open source a cancer. But by 2015, things shifted dramatically. In an interview, Mark Russinovich, CTO of Microsoft Azure, said something remarkable, and I quote, "We would not rule out the notion that Windows might go open source. In fact, it is definitely possible." So, Microsoft has acknowledged the possibility. And under the leadership of Satya Nadella, Microsoft proved they were willing to open source some of their biggest projects. They released the .NET software framework as open source. Then Visual Studio Code, one of the most popular code editor in the world, is open source. So the capability is there, the possibility exists. Microsoft has already walked this path with other products. But the catch is that Microsoft knows that Windows operating system along with the MS Office suite are its two biggest cash cows. They generate enormous revenue not just from licensing but from telemetry, data collection, targeted advertisements and more. They have hundreds of millions of logged in customers. Open sourcing Windows would mean losing control over that ecosystem. And sadly, the world we are dreaming about does not exist. Every model I previously mentioned already works, just not for Microsoft Windows. And as a result, Windows is still a proprietary software, which means Microsoft have the control, and for Microsoft, control is more valuable than innovation or sustainability. This end of support cycle is not their technical limitation. It is a business model designed to keep users dependent, to sell new hardwares, and to collect more data. This is not the first time this has happened, and it won't be the last. But like Windows 10, not everything is lost. There is still a good news. The freedom we imagined already exists. This longevity, this transparency, this sustainability, it is the reality of GNU Linux and the free and open source world. In the real world, Microsoft's philosophy is about controlling its users. But free and open source software is all about empowering them. You do not have to dream of a free and open source Windows. You can use the real free and open source operating system today that respects you, your hardware, and your freedom. So that's it for now. And what do you think? Just like European Union users forced Microsoft to provide 1 year of extended support, will Microsoft ever be forced to make a version of Windows that is truly open source? Or will they continue prioritizing profit over sustainability? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you really want to explore the world where we turn this philosophy into practice, do check out the videos I have listed in the description below. And if you found this video helpful, please subscribe for more free and open source content. Thanks for watching. Until next time, keep switching to GNU Linux.